want to know the secret to really, really, really wealthy people? I'm talking about the people that actually went out there and earned it. All right? It comes down to this. It comes down to recognizing potential. Recognizing potential. I know that might sound like, well, what do you mean by that? Like potential inside myself, potential in a certain situation, potential in a business, potential in a piece of property? Yes. I'm talking about all of those things. But for us, for real estate entrepreneurs, I'm talking about the potential that we have with absolutely anybody that wants, let me say that again, wants to sell their house, their property, whatever it is, whether it's a piece of land, whether it's a house, whether it's a condo, townhouse, multifamily, whatever it is. What is the potential for that property? Because let's be honest, there are certain levels to this real estate game, right? Like you might look at a property and see that you can make $10,000, but somebody else in your marketplace that has years of experience and a lot of different buyers and a lot of different exit strategies could see way more profit in that same deal. I mean, I might look at a piece of land and think that, oh man, I can make $1 million on that. But Donald Bren, the biggest real estate investor in the country, billions, $14 billion, $15 billion as a real estate investor, he could look at it and see something that is worth, $100 million. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about understanding the potential of the leads that you are talking to. And I'm going to break this all down. I'm going to make this a lot more clear. But I'm telling you this, if you really put into your brain and put into your business and understand that the more reps that you have, the more experience that you have, the better you're going to understand the potential of every single opportunity that comes your way. Potential, potential, potential. I am telling you guys, this is the whole key to this business. This is the key to understand. This is the key from going from $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a deal to 20, 50. 20, 30, 50. I made a big jump there. But, that is what it is. And it is understanding different exit strategies, and that comes with the experience. Or you leverage someone else's experience, right? That's what we do. That's what I do, right? Mentors, coaches, people in your marketplace that maybe you work for a little while, apprentice with, really get and understand and be able to lift the veil from your eyes and understand the true potential of every single person that you speak with that wants to sell. Now, remember, there's a distinction between wants to sell and needs to sell, right? There's plenty of people that need to sell that lose their houses every day, right? There has to be a owner that is ready to sign a purchase agreement. That's what we're looking for. So what happens, right? What happens when we're speaking with somebody and, they have a beautiful house. They have a beautiful house and they want a lot of money for it. So let's do this thought exercise because I think it's really, really, really important. And I'll tell you where to kind of put the guardrails on your strategy so that you're not scattered all over the place and your business kind of flows like this because you're too distracted with non-income producing activities. But check this out, okay? Let's say, they can hear me all right? Yep, okay, good. Let's say that you've got a perfect house and they want retail price. You're here, right? And I think that this is really interesting. I think that if you draw this on every single one of your leads, you're going to be able to discover what is a way, what are the ways that I can make income from this lead if they don't just want a cash as is offer, right? We love living here. This is where the big bucks are made, right? This is where we get the most, the biggest profits is when the price is low and the property is in rough shape. Now listen, right here is the perfect. If it's in great shape and they want a low price for it, that's fantastic, but let's live in reality. Most of the time, the price is going to reflect the condition, and that's what this line is. This is the condition of the property. You've got a perfect, beautiful, remodeled house. Right? And then you have a property that is a hoarder house that has kind of goat paths throughout it because there's trash all the way from the ceiling, from the floor to the ceiling. right? So that's what we're looking at here. But what happens here? How do we make money in those situations where they don't want a cash as is discounted offer? When you're having these conversations and you ask somebody, would you consider an offer in your property? And they say, absolutely, right? And then you dig a little bit more, and then you got to find out, is this an actual lead? What is a lead? What is a lead? You want to know what a lead is? A lead is somebody that wants to sell, and this is so critical, and has a timeline. They have a timeline. They're going to sell. They're going to they're going to either put this on the market or sell it privately or whatever else, right? They're going to sell this property. They've made that decision. That is a lead. That's why that's why when we say we are deal finders, not deal creators, because if people don't have a timeline, you're not going to force a timeline on them. You can shorten timelines, but they need to already be at that point of making that decision. It has to be concrete. I am going to transfer the title of this property to somebody else in a certain amount of time. That's a lead. Okay? That is a lead. So with that being said, now you know that these people are going to sell. How do you make money on the properties that are really good shape? Right? So you're here, you can't just lock it up and assign it. There's no meat on the bone. So what do? Well, a couple different strategies, right? Number one is if you have a real estate license, you could list it. Not saying it's the best plan, but you could. You could list that property, okay? If you have a real estate license, you can refer that deal to another agent, which we do, and you can get a referral fee. You can get a referral, right? That's where you live. You can get that referral fee. What if you don't have a license, which, by the way, I highly suggest that you get a license at some point in your business or hire somebody on your team that has a license so you can take advantage of the 35% that you can get as a referral fee, right? When you refer this to a real estate agent and they put it on the market and it sells and they get a commission, you get 30 to 35% for passing along somebody that would never accept a cash as is offer, right? They want to get full market value for these properties, and they should. This is 90 to 94% of the market lives in somewhere in this area, right? And we know that when we talk to 100 people, 200 people, 5 to 10% of those people that we talk to, if we're pulling the right lists, which is outlined on this channel. I mean, there's a ton of videos on pulling the right lists. But when you pull the right lists, or when you're doing your driving for dollars and you know these properties are in a distressed condition, you know that 5 to 10% of the people are an actual lead. They are going to sell. They're in that selling process, right? So when we're looking at the numbers, we go, okay, wait a second. So if it takes 200 people, if I have to talk to 200 people to get one deal, that means if 5 to 10% of those people want to sell, that means that that's anywhere from 10 to 20 of these people that I talk to. Out of the 200, there's potential to make income. Are we following? Is it good? Is it clear? It's beautiful, guys. By the way, we got Mike Mahoney back today. Rafael Cortez is at a mastermind. We got the OG in the seat, so it's going to be phenomenal. So keep me, if I'm going too fast or if I'm going too wild, let me know and I'll slow it down. All right.
So Brent, what I got so far is the person's motivation and timeline.
Yes.
Says that I've got a lead for some kind of real estate deal, yep. Right? And then price and condition of the property tells you what kind of a deal.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. That's why whenever we're having a conversation, every conversation that we have, I don't care if you've never spoke to anybody about buying their property or about considering an offer, when you pre-qualify them, which you have to do or you're going to spin your wheels a lot and you're going to waste a lot of time, you qualify based on the 4 pillars: condition, timeline, motivation, price. Do we have a graphic for that? I don't remember if we do. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. I can't believe we don't. Let's make sure that we do. So when you're doing that, you find out, okay, they do have a timeline. This is a lead, but it's a beautiful property. They're going to list it. They want to list it or it's a referral. What about creative financing? What about asking, listen, I can give you that price, but can I do it in pay? Can I give you payments? Right? Common language. Don't go too highbrow on, well, would you consider some sort of creative financing where I give you a down payment and you seller financing, blah, blah, over their head. Would you consider taking payments? So we got creative financing. Creative, right? Can you lock up a deal? Can you lock up a deal with creative terms even if it's a beautiful house? It happens every single day. Every single day. Some people don't want to sell because they don't want to take the tax hit on the profits, and they'd rather lengthen that out. It happens every single day. So you can get creative with these deals, right?
So Brent, right there, what's happening is you're giving them price, but they're giving you terms, right? Okay.
Yeah. They're giving you price and terms. Because whenever we're negotiating real estate, it comes down to either price or terms, right? Either price or terms, and understanding the potential of both of those. What's the potential with the price? What's the potential with the terms? Not only that, but let's say you're just getting started. Let's say, well, Brent, I need some income now. I need to fund this. I need to invest in my business. I need to replace my job. I need some money now. What if you locked up a deal with creative financing and then wholesaled that? What if you assigned that? What if you did a subject to on these properties, like Pace is the master of and talks about? What if you do something that is a little bit different than just let me get you money for your property right now? But if they want money for their property right now, list it and refer it, right? Or do something creative. I'm telling you, there's potential even with the most beautiful properties. What if they're kind of like right here on the scale? They want a good price, but it's not really the best condition, and it's a little bit too tight for it to be a wholesale, which you run into every single day. What can you do? Well, what people are doing now in major markets is they're selling to hedge funds. You can lock up a deal that's tight as a wholesale, but a hedge fund will pay 100 to 115% of the retail value. I'm not joking. We're doing it every week. But that's what we go back to is the levels to this game are all based on recognizing potential. You don't know that you could sell this deal or do this deal unless you know what the hedge funds are looking for, right? Now listen, I want you to live in this area. I want you to love this area. I want you, if this is your first 12 months, I want you to go after ugly houses, big checks. I'll say it till, whatever, for eternity. I will say ugly houses, big checks, because this is how you really build the momentum in your business and really get a heavy, healthy bank account, right? But what happens with the leads that you don't? Now listen, if you're just getting started and you're focusing on getting these big checks here, right? Ugly houses, big checks. Why don't you squat up with people that know how to do this? Why don't you squat up with a real estate agent? What if a real estate agent, you don't have a license, but what if you start sending referrals to a real estate agent? What if they pay for all your marketing this year? What if they pay for your skip tracing and your dialer and batch leads and PropStream and Deal Machine? What if you did that? What if they did all of that for you for the whole year? What if you reduced your cost because you're giving them so many opportunities? That's incredible. I mean, we have so much potential on every single lead, but a lead is a lead when they have a timeline. Critical. There has to be a timeline. You have to pull that out. If you're to sell this home, where would you go to next? Ideally, when would you like the cash in your account? Ideally, when do you want to be done with this property so it's just completely off of your hands? Right? We typically close within 14 and 30 days. Would that work for you? No, it doesn't. I can't close until 2025. Well, what are we doing? Right? You want to understand the timeline because that helps you understand, is this a lead or not a lead? And then from there, what is the potential? The more that you can build the experience or leverage the experience of a mentor, coach, or somebody that you work for, the more deals you're going to do, one, the volume, and the amount of money you're going to make is going to be bananas. It's going to be absolutely bananas because you're going to be able to pull something from where other people aren't seeing those opportunities, right? We're all going for this, and we should be. There's plenty of these to go around, and I'm not joking. There's plenty of ugly houses, big checks to go around and around and around and around. And I want you to focus on this because I want you to have big, juicy deals, big wins, right? Big influxes of cash. But when you run across these things, squad up with people that can help you. If you're focused on wholesaling, find somebody that does creative deals in your market. Find somebody that's a real estate agent in your market. Find somebody that is going to do some incredible things. You got hedge funds here in this area. You got some novation agreements. You can certainly get into those type of things. I'm not saying you, unless you want to add that so that you can recognize other opportunities. But if you're just getting rolling, start getting the money coming in. Focus. This is what I'm talking about when I said put the guardrails on. Focus on ugly houses, big checks, but naturally, because you're so proactive and you're having so many conversations with people and getting so many leads and opportunities that you can make money just by passing these deals off or locking them up in a creative situation and assigning those deals. Does that make sense? And then also building up your experience with hedge funds. Maybe somebody in town does great with hedge funds, so that you're finding these, you're sourcing these deals, giving it to them, they're giving it to the hedge funds, you get a slice of it. Right? There's so many opportunities. So many opportunities. Every lead there is potential. But remember, stay focused, build a great squad that can help you out with all the other things, and keep going after ugly houses, big checks. But every lead, there is a potential to make some money, right? There is. There just is. So that's what I want you to really, really think about as during this show. These are the questions that I want to hear about. Recognizing potential. The more that you can recognize potential, it is unmistakable that the more that you can recognize potential, the more money you're going to make. This is what really, really, really wealthy people do. All right? There we go. Let's crack that open. And listen, we're here for 2 hours. We're here for another hour and 42 minutes. So a lot of this is going to be about question and answers, and a lot of this is going to be about recognizing you and celebrating you and your successes. And in just a bit, I'm going to have the guys sitting right over here off screen here from Deal Machine are back in town talking about what are the numbers? How many people do we have to find when we're driving for dollars? How many addresses should we be going for to get a deal, depending on what market we're in? Not only that, what are the advancements in their technology, which is absolutely bananas. I put out a video last week talking about how you can literally drive for dollars sitting on your couch or while you're traveling or whatever else. You can pull it up just on your computer and really build the strongest list possible. And it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So we'll get into that. But I want to welcome everybody to the show. I want to welcome Mike Mahoney back to the show. It's going to be phenomenal. So I think we're going to start off with some celebration. Do we have some celebration here? Do we have a bell ring just to crack this thing open? Boss fired me this morning. All right. But I got my first house under contract for an $8,700 profit. Isaiah, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Keep it going. Here we go. We celebrate you. Yes. Congratulations, brother. I am so happy for you. Keep it going. Remember, keep that money. Keep that money. Invest in yourself, right? If that money allows you to pay your bills and keep afloat and focus 100% on this business, that is a huge investment in yourself. Take advantage of it. Talk to as many people as you can. Be as proactive as you possibly can. Congratulations. That's awesome. This is part two. Yeah, I know showed work because I had an appointment with the seller and we went over the contract and they signed. I don't want to be a cog in the system. That's right, brother. Build the system. You want to hear one of the coolest quotes that I heard this morning, Mike? Oh, yeah. Poor people do the wrong things. Rich people do the right things. Wealthy people own the right things. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. I love that. And that goes into owning your own business. That goes into owning your own schedule. That goes into owning your own energy. That goes into not being mystical or anything, but literally, like, we got to protect our energy so that we can pour as much as we can into the hustle season. It's a season, not a lifestyle. You make it a lifestyle, it gets really, really, really tricky to find harmony in your life. It's not about balance, right? We're not balanced. Our brains are not balanced. None of us. Any entrepreneur, any real estate entrepreneur especially, there's no balance. There's only harmony, right? So, but owning the right things is really, really, really important. That's awesome. Diana, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here, Lakeland, Florida. No deal yet, but you all inspire me not to ever give up. Thank you for sharing your experience. It is highly appreciated. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for participating. Keep going. I'm telling you, when you talk to 200 people, distressed property owners, and you ask them if they would consider an offer on their property, one of them will work with you. It's just the numbers. That's just math. So keep it going, Diana. You got this. I want to see and celebrate and ring that victory bell for you real soon. In March, preferably. So get going, right? Right. All right, good. Max Brown, I start cold calling tomorrow in Houston. Max, get it. Ton of opportunities. There are so many properties in Houston to go after. It is bananas. So stay focused, get into the rhythm, and just do it every single day. Every single day. Build it, build it, build it. And remember, Max, you don't have to like foot to the gas pedal this day one. Go for 5 minutes, stop. Go for 10 minutes, stop. 15 minutes, stop. Build up your endurance. When you're looking at, oh my gosh, I got a call for the next 3 hours. That's my goal. And then you're about to start, and then all of a sudden, those weird little hallucinations start popping up into your brain, and you're like, oh, what if somebody finds out where I live? And what if somebody gets real mad at me? And what if, I'm not calling the right list? Or what if I don't talk to anybody? I'm not going to do it. 5 minutes, stop. 10 minutes, stop. 15 minutes, stop. 30 minutes, stop. Build up your endurance and your experience, and that helps you recognize more potential. The more potential that you can recognize in every single deal, every single property, the more money you're going to make. Facts. There you go. What would you say the biggest tip is for first week of that's it. That's it, Max. Thank you. I mean, you kind of fell right into that one. Yeah, don't white knuckle it. You need to gamify it. You need to have fun with this. It's a new skill. You have to understand that once you're able to have the ability and the skill to source discounted properties on a regular basis, you're set for life. You're set for life, and then you build a whole company around it. It's bananas. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, there is always, throughout history, there's always a demand for real estate. So find the best deals, and you're set.
So the biggest tip first week is build endurance.
That's it.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh, the first tip is do it. You know what I mean? That's a press go. Say yes. I mean, like if you're hand dialing, press send. If it's a dialer, press go on it and just start. Just start. That's the first win, and it's a huge win. People think, oh, the only win that should be recognized is a closed check, a closed deal, the check and or the wire. That's not it. That's not it at all. It is the journey to that for sure. That first time you get on the call for the first time and you're brave, do you know how many people can't get past that? You know how many people can't get past, well, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm an introvert. I'm scared. All of those things. But I want to have a great portfolio. I want to be a real estate entrepreneur. I want to be really good at this. Which one do you want more? Which one do you want more? Is it the goal, or is it are you going to just stick to your fears. Guys, if you're getting value out of the first part of the show, please hit the like button. It really helps us. It just exposes us to more people. The more people that we're exposed to, the more interesting and unbelievable guests that we can have on the show, because it'll be bigger and they'll want to do it. So, and then I could bring that straight to you if you like the way that I communicate and ask questions and really try to pull out the nitty gritty. So make sure you hit the like button. It's real quick. Boom, right there on your phone or on your computer. It really helps us out, and it really helps expose us to more potential amazing people just like yourself. And you get to squat up with people in the comments and really build relationships and really find people that maybe are starting out. Maybe all you need to get going is somebody to do it with you. You know what I mean? Like literally just be in the same room making calls with you. Maybe it's, being in the same room, driving for dollars, whatever. All of these things, it's a lot easier in the beginning if you have a squad. If you have your board of directors that we talk about here, right? The 5 people that you spend the most time with is who you are. So who is that for you professionally, right? Add those. Get those board of directors, right? You're the chairman. You got to pick who's on there, right? You got to pick who you spend the most time with. So get after it.
I like that as a top tip for week 1, because you don't run a marathon by running a marathon day 1, right? You got to build up endurance just for having those conversations for an hour, 2, 3 at a time, for getting the rejection an hour, 2, 3 at a time, all that stuff, right? Yep. So I dig that.
Love it. We'll do a few more questions, and then we're going to bring on the Deal Machine crew wearing their Canadian tuxedos. Well, one of them. David Letgo. Well, you're not too far. Well, I'll get into it in a second. All right, John Doe. Do you think the tired landlord list is still good? I'm getting nowhere with the list. I fear that everyone is targeting this list, and they are getting bombarded. How many options are you giving them? Listen, the stats are the stats, brother. The stats are 5 to 10% of the people that you're talking to are a lead. They're people that want to sell. They're going to sign a purchase agreement. They're going to transfer title of that property to somebody else. So you're going to have to talk to 180 or 190 people. And by the way, I understand, John. I understand that I'm getting nowhere. Yeah, when you hear 50 times in a row, don't call me. I get these calls all the time. I don't want to sell. What is this about? Right? 50 times. Try 100 times. Try 180 times in a row. Right? Ooh, now it's chipping away. Now it's chipping away at your resolve. Now it's chipping away at your confidence. Now it's chipping away at your certainty. Right? Now all the 3 Ds, right? Doubt, distraction, and disappointment pop up. And you're like, oh my gosh, this just isn't working. I got to switch strategies. Which maybe you do, John, but I'm telling you, there's still going to be opportunities in the tired landlord list. What I would say is to keep your energy high, to keep your mindset really strong. I always like switching up the list every 30 minutes. Sometimes every 15 minutes if I was feeling real wacky, right? I would go, I'm doing my driving for dollars. I'm doing my tired landlords. I'm doing some vacant properties. I'm doing pre-foreclosures, right? I'm doing expired listings, all of these things, right? So it just, it kind of just felt like, it's still pretty similar conversations if I'm going to be honest with you, but sometimes you go on a hot streak. Sometimes you call a list and you're like, oh my gosh, why isn't anybody else calling this list? Right? And it usually is driving for dollars. It is because it's a custom list and it takes longer to build, and it's not something that you can just download with, 7 different filter clicks with your mouse and then download, right? It's a lot harder with your driving for dollars. So John's right.
Tired landlord, it's a bloodbath.
Yep.
But what percentage of your deals for your company last year were tired landlords?
50%.
Yeah, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So it still works.
Yeah. And John, I'll tell you now, I love this list because you can really provide value, because a lot of landlords got really beat up over the last couple of years with non-payments. which has led to really toxic relationships between landlords and their tenants. You come in as a new, fresh-faced, good attitude person in the middle between the two of them. You communicate with the tenant. They understand that they have to move out and or pay more in rent and or they can stay there. But somebody else is buying this property and you need access. There's a couple different ways there. But you get in the middle there. And you take on that relationship. The landlord's excited. They sell to you, and then you can sell to your database, or you can keep it yourself. So there's a huge advantage right now. I think more than ever. I think that more, like when I say 50%, Mike, it's the absolute truth. And 50% of those properties had people living in it, where we had to do either start the eviction process. But most of the time, 90% of the time, cash for keys, communicating really well. Ryan, my acquisition manager, and Chad, my acquisition manager, are brilliant at getting these tenants on our side, explaining the situation, giving them enough runway to make a decision on where they're going to live, and it usually goes a lot smoother than having to evict them. But it's a phenomenal strategy. It is a huge issue for landlords with tenants that they just do not have a good relationship with. Two-parter. All right. I feel like this is the... All right. Hi, Alejandro, Raphael, and Brent, or Mike. I heard you say when you sell a deal, or sell a deal to one of your REI buddies, they're always trying to ask you for a lower price, but you always say no. Okay?
Part two.
Should we do the same when blasting our deals to our cash buyer list? Louis, great to hear from you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I know that you and Jatarin are doing a deal. That's fantastic. It depends. Right now, the reason we don't just sell to our buddies, Louis, is because we have, thousands and thousands of buyers that we can communicate with. So they get into a bidding war. So if you don't have a huge, robust cash buyer database, obviously you want to develop that over time. But as we're getting started out, if you've got a verified, very strong, a buyer that will over communicate with you and doesn't just say, yeah, I want the deal, and then they disappear, and then you're hoping that they close. They're really communicating with you, and you build a nice relationship. You can go ahead. You're not going to make as much as you possibly can, but that all comes with, again, recognizing potential. You can recognize more potential if you know that you have buyers that have different exit strategies. Remember, when you're selling a property, the lowest tier is you selling to another wholesaler, right? Because there has to be enough meat on the bone for them to sell to a cash buyer, which is typically going to be a fix and flipper. So it's you're selling it. The lowest is wholesaler. Next is a fix and flipper. Next is somebody that wants to add it to their rental portfolio. Right? The numbers can go higher if they want to keep that property. They're not flipping it. They're not trying to get income, big chunks of income from selling that property. So next is selling to people that want to add it to their rental portfolio. And then from there is people that want to live in the actual property, which we're seeing more and more and more of with the lack of inventory in our country. More people are getting short-term bridge loans to go in and pay cash for properties just to get in the door, just because there's too much competition on the market and they need to buy something off market, which means they need to buy it cash. And those are the top buyers. And then if you really want to get wacky and really go, depending on the condition and depending on the buy box, hedge funds. So, Louis, to answer your question in a long explanation there, sorry, Alejandra, I see you getting itchy. Yeah, if you got a solid buyer and they're willing to commit and you don't have other people bidding on it, then go with that buyer and get it closed. David, just closed my largest fee off bad data. $60,100. What we're talking about, we need to have some sort of like a bigger bell for massive deals. You know what I mean? Something that I just have to take a sledgehammer to. Boom. No, not a gong. Gongs are played out. Here we go.
Oh yeah, gong's too loud. You're right.
Is it gong or dong?
Gong.
Gong. 60,100, David. If you can explain the bad data thing, that'd be interesting. I'm curious. You have piqued my curiosity, David. But congratulations again. And I told him, Mike, you can vouch for me here. When Mike and I used to wear ties, my purple one was my favorite. You know?
Sure was.
Yeah, Fossa Knob.
Wow.
Fossa Knob, that was the brand. It was real good. Anyway, here we go. Joshua, hey guys, how do you go about cold calling landowners that don't have a house built on it? Like, what type of information should I be getting? Great question, Joshua. So I've got, and I'll encourage you to check it out because I've got kind of a full breakdown on a video on this channel. Definitely check that out. Just type in Brent Daniels land and it'll pop up. Not now. Stick around for now so that you can get all the juice out of this, out of the show. But basically, just don't overthink it, because with land, it's either no emotions or high emotions. It's not like we lived in there and we have so many memories on this piece of land and, you know, all this. No. It's either they want nothing for it because it's costing them property taxes and they get no income from this piece of land because they're not renting it, right? So it's just every year it's a liability for them and they just want to get rid of it. Or they think that you could build a, 200-foot skyscraper, 200-story skyscraper, and it's worth $10 million. So one, you got to find out how much do they want for it. Right? That's the most important thing, right? It's the same thing. You don't really have to know the condition, but when you're asking about the condition, you can ask about things like, does it have utilities to it? What is it zoned for? What can you build on this property? Right? When you're looking at land, really unique shaped lots are very difficult to sell. You want the plain Jane rectangle shaped lot for real. Or a pie shaped, you know what I mean? If it's like in a cul-de-sac or on a bend or something. You don't want to go after something that like you don't even have access to. You know what I mean? So watch that video and don't overthink it. What price do they want for the land? And does it have utilities? What can you build on it? You know what I mean? And then from there, Joshua, I highly suggest when you are dispoing those land deals, you talk to the planning and zoning department in that city or county or township or whatever, and find out, get all the details, because your buyers are going to want to know. How far away is utilities? Is there access? Is there any easements? Is it in a floodplain? What can you build on this? What is the building envelope? All of those things. It's in that video. It's kind of a lot, so I don't want to overwhelm you. But basically, bottom line is, what's the price? Because I'll tell you what, we sell a lot of properties to the next door neighbor, because they don't want somebody building there. And oftentimes they're already using it. They got like a playground on it. You know, they got their old car that they're fixing up on the lot or something. You know what I mean? So there you go. It's a great strategy. We just made $122,000 closed, funded, in the account on a land deal in Sedona. I know. That was a new face I was trying out. I've been testing it. I think it's really powerful.
It was good.
Yeah. There you go.
You get asked this question a lot.
Where do I get a good JV script? We can put one together. That's fine, Jared. Thank you. Will you just remind me to put this together? But don't overthink it, Jared. If you're looking to it just depends on if you're looking to be the dispo side or if you're trying to JV. Let me know, Jared. Are you looking to help sell the deal to your buyers and you want to work with people in a JV situation, or do you want to find people that'll help you dispo those deals? So there's two sides of that, Jared. On the one side, most people, when they're going at it, are going to start out as, I'm your buyer. I'm going to be the buyer, so send me your deals. I'm a buyer. And then you have the option to close on it or the option to assign it to somebody else. Most people that tell you they're a buyer are really just wholesalers, which is fine if they have a big, robust database that they can sell these to. It's a problem when they're just they don't have any means to sell it, and they just are locking up as many opportunities as possible, and then it really screws up your relationship with that seller. So you got to be very, 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 very careful with who you are building that JV relationship with, and make sure they have an incredible reputation, do a lot of deals.
We should do a video on that.
We'll do a video on it. There you go. Hey, Brett.
Who's that?
I know. It's Brett or Brent or
Bob.
Chad. I get that. How do I find hedge fund buyers? That is awesome. We did a whole show on it, Sid, so definitely look for that. But basically, it's pretty easy. You can find it on PropStream. You're looking for, when you see cash sales, you want to filter for people that own 25 or 50 properties, right? You go right into PropStream and be able to pull that and figure that out. And then you start reaching out to them. But the best part is I would start reaching out. I would literally be on social media and any investor group or even on your own group and just type in, who knows a real estate agent that works with hedge funds? For real. And just see what the response is from that. I mean, maybe you don't have a very real estate heavy, like personal Facebook, but you could be surprised. And then definitely get into all of those investor groups that are in Facebook, ask that question, and go to the RIAs, ask that question, go to meetups. A lot of the real estate investor associations, that's what a RIA stands for. It's just it's just real estate investors getting together and hanging out and networking and educating on some level. But it is a lot of times they have forums. They have forums or they have Discords. So there's a lot of different ways to find that. I would find the agents that represent the hedge funds, because the hedge funds kind of put a protective layer around them that says, hey, listen, go through this person first so that we're not bombarded with deals that aren't really deals. Great question, Sid. Sid Vicious. There's a lot of eyes. Valor University says, I am just starting out. Is there a CRM and skip tracing system that's all in one? Yes. Batchleads.io. Yep. There you go. And I know that you guys are cringing right now. You guys are like, we do that, right? Deal Machine does it too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deal Machine too. Well, we'll get them up and talk about it. But batchleads.io, TTP, that's what we're that's the platform that we're skip tracing through. And you can text blast for now. I'm not saying it's going away, but they're definitely the carriers are blocking a lot of text messages, so I wouldn't rely heavily on building your whole business on text messaging. There you go. Let's bring these guys out. Well, hold on. Michael, last one, and then we'll bring these guys on. Michael, can you use an LLC from one state to do deals in a different state? That is, can we get the hashtag not a CPA? Michael, that is a great question. I know that I do deals in Florida with my Arizona LLC, so I'll be able to answer that. But it could be state by state. I don't know. Hashtag not a CPA. Yeah, that's right.
See?
That is a great question. I would. Yeah, it might be state by state, but I don't see why it would be a problem. I honestly don't. So I mean, it's your LLC's tied to your bank account, and you have an EIN. So from a tax standpoint, you still have to deal with that. So anybody know? Do we know?
No
Okay.
idea.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Great question. Let's bring some of my favorite people on here.
Well, yeah, and also,
Matt.
I just want to say, Brent, so, John opened up with, he's feeling beat up on the tired landlord list.
Yep.
We got the low competition list guys right over here.
Mm-hmm. Here we are. Come on over.
Good.
Matt Cam, David Lecko, welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right. Great to see you guys. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Phenomenal. So if you guys will get on the mic here, let's talk about, and guys, I want questions.
We do have questions.
I want questions for Driving for Dollar. I want best practices. I want to know what do you look for? What's the best deals? What are you guys seeing from a high level? Because we can answer a lot of those questions just ourselves, but the advantage of having you guys here is you guys have the insider information of what is going on out there. You're getting a lot of feedback feedback. You're getting a lot of testimonials. You got a lot of data points to understand. I mean, if you'll switch over real quick, well, when we have a second here, I'm going to show you our deal machine pulled up right here, just so that you guys understand that we do use this. We have built right here, if you look here, 3,947 leads that we have just in the city of Phoenix, okay? Now, we built that over the last couple years, and we're going to revamp that because obviously it's changed. You know, some people have fixed and flipped. Some people, you know, aren't on this list anymore, and some properties have gotten worse to the point where now they fit the criteria. But when people ask you, what is driving for dollars and how does it help the business, how do you answer that?
Well, first of all, this is a beautiful studio. It's the first time I've ever been here on a live show, and I just wanted to say it's great to see you leveling up and continuing to get better.
This is nothing. Wait 60, 90
days. You got a
days.
plan?
Oh,
60, 90 day plan?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
You have no idea. Yeah.
So what is driving for dollars?
Yeah.
It is looking for rundown houses and getting in touch with the owners to see if they have a timeline and an interest in selling their property. And if they do, then you can help them out with that. The reason why it's valuable is because of all the lists that you could pull. As you mentioned before, you could pull hedge fund owners, you can pull properties that are absentee owned or vacant, but the one list that you cannot pull, that you have to go out and find yourself, is the one that is distressed properties, and especially the ones that are recently distressed because you drove by and you saw that they were distressed.
Right.
And so that's why it's valuable. You can send less mail to less properties to get a deal there because there's less people that have that list because it's kind of hard to get.
It's the first 20 deals that I did. First 20 deals. And the only reason it wasn't the first like 30 deals is because a couple in that mix were referrals that I got. But the rest of them were driving for dollars. It's what I built this whole business on. And 80% of new real estate investors get their first deal from driving for dollars. That's just a fact. So how do people do this the most effective, right? What have you guys built here that kind of sets Deal Machine apart, and how can they take advantage of it?
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, when I was starting out, I struggled. I was building my list. I was writing down addresses, and that was causing me to have a follow-up problem because I was addicted to finding the properties, and I had been building my list, maybe like 100 leads over the course of 30 days, and that was not enough to I didn't handwrite those letters right away. So being able to be in front of the house and send a postcard immediately will get you in front of that owner right away. So if they do want to sell in a short time frame, you can be the one that helps them. So at the very basic level, I mean, that's all Deal Machine is it lets you pin the property, see who owns it, send or cold call, right? You can export your lists.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the mailing, direct mail approach here, because I think if you have somewhat of a budget, right, and you have a list of 1,000, 2,000 driving for dollars, they literally press a button. Right. It customizes a postcard. Right. It sends it to them on a how often basis?
You can set it, but 21 days is the default.
Every 21 days, they're getting some mailer from you, right?
Right.
From the individual person that's sending that out.
Right.
And you don't need to have a huge budget because you're going after the ugliest properties as opposed to pulling a list where you're assuming they're all ugly and you're having to mail to 15, 20, 100, 200,000 addresses in the hopes that you find the worst of the worst ones so that you can get the biggest profits. You just set it up so that, boom, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, a couple other things that it helps you do is if you've got a spouse or a business partner and you guys both want to be out there driving, it'll keep track of where each of you have been so that you don't overlap the same routes.
I love it. Yep. So nitty gritty, right? How many addresses per deal?
Depends on where you're at.
There we go. Go ahead.
It ranges from 300 to 1,200. And if you're in a lower cost market, it's going to be on the lower side. And if you're in a higher cost market, like, I mean, Austin, Texas, or California, it's going to be on the high side. You're going to find a lot of properties, and send the mail and or cold call rather. How many times do you suggest that they call a property that's on a list like that?
2 to 3 times.
That's
I
it?
mean, it depends. Yeah, and then shelf it for 6 months and then go through it again.
Okay.
Yep. Because here's the thing. Anytime that you're calling somebody, the first time you go through a list, you're going to get the highest contact rate. And then it's going to drop off. So the first time you call through, it's people that answer the phones of, strangers calling them. It's just they just have to. They love it. They love answering. They love answering the phone, And then the second time you kind of get the people that are like, I wonder who this is. And then the third time it's like, all the people that are like, I'm never going to answer a call from somebody that I don't know. And so it really, you could call through the list more. The issue is your contact rate goes way down, which means you're spending hours not talking to enough people. And we know we need to talk to 200 people to get a deal. So if I could talk to 10 people an hour, I can do a deal in 20 hours. But if I am only talking to 2 people, it takes forever. It takes 100 hours. And that's when you see the frustration and the burnout of a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, let's say you're in Phoenix and you had 500 properties driving for dollars.
Yes.
And you cold call all of them and you haven't got a deal.
Yeah.
Should you just hang up, and go invest in crypto instead? Do you just give up?
Well, it certainly depends on if you have a brain for real estate, right? I really believe that we're just different people. We're just really want to be real estate entrepreneurs. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not just a strategy for right now. This is something that is long term. This is something that is lifetime. This is something that you start building young. I mean, you're done in 7 years. You know what I mean? It's that powerful, and you're not always chasing the dragon. You know what I mean? Always chasing the ups and downs of different strategies. So if you want to be a businessman and go out and just find different avenues to make money, that's fantastic. But most of the audience is people that want to have big, robust portfolios and understand the unique advantages of being a real estate entrepreneur. That's it. So no, you do not quit. You keep going and you keep pushing and you keep building, because the more experience you have, the more you can recognize the potential of every single deal that you're talking to. Right? Good.
Yeah. I will say, one, thanks again for having both of us on.
Yeah.
I always have a good time here. I know I'm the tall guy here.
Is it good? I love that I'm standing and David's sitting and we're like the same height.
I'm crouching down here. That range that David gave as well, that there are a lot of variables to that. So hey, the more touch points you have with somebody, like you said, somebody might answer a call easier, someone might answer a text. We see plenty of people, because you're out driving for dollars, we see plenty of people door knocking, leaving door hangers, things like that.
Yep.
And then mix in that mail. So having a marketing mix, not to overcomplicate it, but having that marketing mix is going to skew you down on number of leads you need to get to that deal. And I think no matter what, the variable that matters most is not necessarily leads per deal, it's return on your investment. So it's, hey, it might take more leads to get to a deal in a competitive market, but you're going to make a way bigger wholesale fee from that deal versus, the less leads market where you're going to have a smaller deal come from that. So. Just to make sure you think
and
about
I
it
also
the right
think
way.
it's a timing thing. It goes back to the timing situation. If you look at ours in Phoenix and you see the 3,600 properties that we have in our database, it's probably 25 deals for us. So the 1 to 300 is very high. That might be a direct mail, but for us, over time, over a few years, this isn't just this year. You get these deals, and it's much less than 1 out of 300 in our experience.
Yeah, and we tell people that so that way they're getting in the mindset of going out there and just build that list right away.
Yep.
Because over time you're going to build that momentum and want to help you get that first win as quickly as possible.
Let's open this thing up to you guys. Let's see what's going on here. My first deal was come on, Dave. Yes. My first deal was a $40K assignment from a driving for dollar property that my wife sent a handwritten letter to.
Love it.
Well, Dave, you're getting a bell ring. I don't care if it was a while ago. You're still getting it. Here you go, brother. Here we go.
I like that Dave partnered up with his wife, too.
Yeah.
How important is it to talk to your significant other about your real estate goals?
It's huge. It is absolutely critical. And if you're on the same team and your wife is like totally on board of being in the company, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. I don't know what that feels like. I don't. My wife's like, if let's buy some stuff. Let's make sure that we're on the same page. But you go do your thing.
Aaron is incredible.
Yeah.
I like Dave's dashing beard.
Yeah, it's a great beard. Look at that. All right. Fantastic. Well earned. Teresa, what do you think about virtual driving for dollars with Deal Machine, the Pro plan? Also, do I need to get prop or batch to comp properties? Can I stick with Redfin and Realtor? I believe you can. In here, so what Teresa is talking about here, Matt, will you put this on satellite view, by the way, so it looks sexier? It's over here. Will you pull this up, Matt? This is virtual driving for dollars now. Now, before you had to go in and you had to get an attachment. You had to have Google Chrome. You had to click on it, and then it added it to your Deal Machine. Now it's actually in the what is it?
Right in the app. Yeah.
Right in the app.
Yeah.
Well, not in the app, but in the online,
desktop
right?
web app.
On the
Yeah,
desktop.
there you go.
Yeah. So now, if you see what David's doing here, he's cruising. It's tracking where he's going with that orange line. So as you're going, you're in a brand new community, David. So it's not probably not the best for driving for dollars.
Yeah.
But what I like doing here, I'll show you real quick. I like zooming out, right, and I like looking for the areas that I know are need some love. They're just older areas, and that's where I look for the opportunities. And then you can drop it in, and then my team can drive for dollars in those areas. So I like going to the older areas. I want a little rust on them. I want a little wear and tear. You can see that because they're not as packed in here. You can see they're kind of out and about here. And then you literally just click. And is it going to take me there?
You click on the picture. Yeah. There you go.
And there we go. We're right in front of it. We got all the details. It tells us the owner. This is an owner occupied. I'm not looking at this property specifically, but I'll drive on this street and look for some. But it gives you all the information. Look at this, absentee owner right here. Right here, absentee owner. This person owns this property way out in Glendale. They live in Scottsdale. We're reaching out. We know what they bought it for. I mean, this is incredible. Look at their equity percent, their estimated equity percent.
That's enough.
It's plenty.
Let's add it.
There you go. How many driving for dollars houses should we be getting a week?
I mean, if you haven't done this before, I think the biggest tip is just to set that consistency. And like you guys were talking about earlier with the cold calling, I mean, you got to build that muscle.
Yes.
So going in, and the more you can build this into your habit every day, I mean, set it where ideally, hey, that first month, go add your first 100 leads.
Yeah.
I know David talked about that when he was creating Deal Machine, but if you can go add those first 100 leads, you're going to start to build that momentum, start to have those conversations. Over time, you'll figure out in your market how many leads per deal you're going to be finding. So the longer you do this, make sure to track that. Make sure to track how many mailers you're sending out, how many conversations you're having. But again, the guidelines, it's usually a couple hundred leads to a deal in general.
Yep. Love it. There you go. I like going, just to answer that real quick, I like shooting for about 30 addresses per hour if you're virtually driving for dollars. If you're out there driving, it just depends on what area. Sometimes you're driving in some neighborhoods where there's a lot of renovation, there's a lot of rejuvenation, there's a lot of gentrification of these neighborhoods and these properties, and you can pick every single one and really find some really great deals. And maybe you're ahead of the curve. Maybe you're seeing some potential there that other people don't yet. You know what I mean? Maybe you're seeing one or two sales go to the cash buyers, and now you're getting into the mix there, and it's an area that used to be undesirable, but now it's like going bananas, which is pretty much most markets.
I was going to say,
yeah. Drive for dollars is proving to be difficult in my market. Either I skip trace and get invalid info of the owner is holding the property as an investment. Trying the suburbs. CM Brown, what is your market? Very curious, because you got the masters here. They can look at the data, or at least have some experience with the areas that you're in. Would love to find out what's going on there. I mean, expand with driving for dollars. You're always constantly expanding out for the areas that you haven't driven, so that you can get as many opportunities as possible. Sometimes virtual driving for dollars is outdated. What do you say to that, guys?
This
Oh yeah, it is. So I mean, it's definitely better to get in your car and go drive in the real world. So virtual driving for dollars, like that's the limitation.
Well, here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Look at this. This picture was taken May 2019.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to go and get the best results. It's driving. You want to get the most quicker virtual drive for dollars and just filter through them.
Yeah, or no excuses.
I mean, what's
right?
the percentage?
If there's a tornado outside, you can do this from your couch or in
Right.
your basement in your shelter.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if it's, you have a tough day schedule and you want to drive around at night, it's easier to just use virtual. It's schedule proof, weather proof.
Yeah.
I will say one pro tip as well. If you're doing the virtual driving for dollars, going in, if you do see a house that isn't in good shape there, you can go in and check. I don't know if, Dave, if you want to show the sale date information that comes up, but you can look to see like, hey, is this not in good shape? And then you can check to see, hey, when was this sold last?
Yep.
And if that sale date is after when the picture was taken, then for sure, then at that point it's changed hands.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows you the sale date if it's sold and you're looking at an outdated picture. So listen, I would say it's best to go out and drive, but if you're not going to do it, this is a lot better. And listen, you're going to talk to people that don't want to sell anyway. So what do you care? Just move on. Just add it and move on. If they say yes and it's like, well, it's totally remodeled, go back to it. Go find out how to make money off of that deal. Go refer that deal, right? Go find a hedge fund for that deal. Go do something creative. See if they want to take payments on that deal. So yeah, some of it is Valor. 100% legit. Recognize you got it. Hamilton, Brent, can you explain the steps and tools a person needs to do for work on getting their first deal by driving for dollars? Yes. Step 1, find ugly houses. That's it. That's the whole step. That's the whole thing. That's how you get going. No, I'm just kidding. No, what you do is, honestly, you find them. Hamilton, make this as simple as possible. There's 3 parts to the real estate business, okay? Lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. So when you're starting out, the first steps that you need is obviously you need Deal Machine. Matt, put up the Deal Machine. Make sure you use the TTP code. These guys love us so much. We get the biggest discount. That's right. Squeezed you guys. Anyway, dealmachine.com. Use TTP as a coupon code and start driving for dollars. Start building up your list. Once you have about 100 addresses, you're going to want to skip trace those addresses and get the phone numbers and then start calling Hamilton. And that's how you start building the momentum, those steps. Get the list, get Deal Machine, build the list, get to 100, skip trace them, and call them up.
Just for anybody, really. So we recorded an amazing new training, Wholesaling for Beginners, where we actually detail those 3 steps, and they can get that in TTP Insider.
There you go. TTP Insider, your resource, your free resource for all the tools that you need, all the guides, all the training that you need to start building the momentum, for sure. Check it out. Any benefit with Deal Machine over batch driven? Wow, this is a comment. What I will say is there's a much bigger budget being dumped into Deal Machine. It's just there's just a lot more being spent. We use Deal Machine, Matt. So what would be the biggest differences besides obviously driving for dollars in app?
I have not used batch driven.
Okay.
But
got it.
A couple of things that you can look for is on the App Store, it shows you a history of updates. And so if you're comparing different tools, you can look and see how frequently.
That's great for anything.
Yeah, how frequently that app developer is adding updates. In a Deal Machine, it's every 2 weeks, and we list out what those updates are. And also you can look at the reviews and see if there's just a few or a lot. So 2 things you can look for when comparing tools.
That was perfect. There you go. Diplomatic. Perfect. Good answer. Answered the question. Look at you.
Go on.
What are you doing? You running for mayor? Look at this guy. This is great. Awesome.
Look at these
that was
lots.
really good.
You want these lots?
I want all those lots. Well, it looks like those lots are getting developed. Brent, I think that driving for dollars gives me a real feel for the area, and then when I call the owners, I have real conversations about the neighborhood. That's right. It always goes better. Mike, great to hear from you, brother. Mike is a TTP family member in the coaching program. You're right. Listen, that's exactly how I felt. I felt very confident having hand dialing the driving for dollars list that I had, because I knew these properties. I knew where they were. I knew what was going on with them. I had an idea of what was happening. Now, if you have a restricted schedule and you can't get out there and drive for hours on end, I think that this is a great opportunity for you to find these properties and to dig in deep and understand these areas just from a visual standpoint. And then as you go on appointments, then you're checking it out. You're seeing what's happening. What's the inventory? I mean, literally, the properties on the streets is our inventory. If we're a grocery store, what are on your shelves? Well, it's these properties that need some love, right? So do you know your inventory? It's really important. The more you know your inventory, and then the more you have experience with your inventory, that's when you get to recognize potential.
I like that.
That's the levels in this game. It's recognizing potential.
What time does it get dark in Arizona?
I don't know, midnight?
No way.
No,
Are
I'm
you
just
serious?
You mean tonight?
Yeah.
I would
6
say
o'clock,
probably
7 o'clock?
6:45.
Yeah, so if you get off work at 5 and you've got to eat dinner,
Yep.
it might be too dark to drive for dollars in your car.
Right.
So if you're in that situation, virtual's good.
That's it.
Or
Yeah.
weekends.
Yep. Awesome. William asks, I just started driving for dollars, and am I crazy, or are there deals just everywhere? Yes. William! I love you, William. I love you because this is the absolute fact. Until there's a day where we live in a utopia of just perfect, pristine neighborhoods, pristine streets, pristine buildings, everything is fantastic, there is always going to be opportunity for us to find incredible deals. Look at the stats. 6 to 10% of the real estate market is in distress. The property's in distress, the condition. They're in financial distress. They're in emotional distress. 6 to 10% of the real estate market. Not only that, we know for a fact that almost 8% of the properties, according to the 2020 U.S. Census, are vacant. Not only that, go ahead, Matt, throw that at him, are vacant for over a year. It's right there. Look all the way on fourth quarter 2020, all housing units, add 3 zeros to that. That's 141 million. You go down 4 steps to vacant. There's 15 million vacant properties. And you go down one more, there's 11,780,000 vacant properties that have been vacant for over a year. 7.9% of the real estate market has been vacant for over a year. There is so much potential, William. I love that you put that on there. I love the positivity. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Sorry, was that utopia you were describing, Scottsdale, Arizona?
No, no. Well, it's they're doing a pretty good job in Scottsdale, but yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. SK973, for a new investor, how would you approach a driving for dollars property door knocking? What do you do? What do you say to the owners? Do you guys have experience with, I mean, you have people doing every strategy, right? Direct mail.
Right.
You've got door knocking. You've got cold calling. You've got texting. What is there some common threads on the conversation? Because obviously I can,
Yeah. I mean, I
go
think,
off on this, but
I think it's just.
I want to hear it from you.
Hey, I'm a local, property owner looking to buy property in this area. Would you ever consider an offer on your house? I mean, what do you say when you're cold calling? I assume it's the same thing in person.
Yeah. Listen, I know this is random. I know this is out of the blue, but I'm looking to buy a property in this neighborhood, and I just want to stop by and see if you would consider an offer on your property. Yep.
The thing I like about door knocking too is I think you have a great opportunity to make a really just warm impact on
For
them.
sure.
Coming with a smile,
For sure.
being able to just immediately start to break down the barriers a little bit. One tip I will give that's deal machine specific, we do have a new piece here where if say you import a list or say you pull a list, so you have a list within Deal Machine using our list builder, however you have that, you can actually go in and do a planned route mode with that list as well. So
That's
people
phenomenal.
are using that for door knocking, where they'll come in, they'll have a list there. Obviously, while you're out driving for dollars, you want to look for other properties as well that are fixer-uppers. But that combo of having a list and then planned route to drive that list and not door knock on that, we've seen a lot of people have success with that
Love
lately.
it.
Yeah.
Love it. There you go. Build that list. Jack asks, how do I drive for dollars virtually for free? Is there a way to drive for dollars? I mean, I guess you could go on Google and just Google Maps it and write down. I mean, listen, here, Jack, that's exactly what I did off the bat, right? I would go with a yellow pad. I would go and I would drive on the streets, and I would write the street name on the top of the page, and then I'd write all the numbers that correlated with the ugly properties that I found. Oh, 1212. Oh, 2310. Oh, 1573.3, whatever it is, and I knew the address, and then I'd have to go into the tax assessor information, and I'd have to find that, and I'd have to look and see, when did they just buy it? Did they not just buy it? Are they? Is there potential here? I mean, for the cost, I would sell something, Jack. Sell something that you don't use anymore and just get the app. Honestly, I would. But if you want to do it for free, that's how you do it. You literally drive around with a pen and a pad. You find the addresses. You go online to your tax assessor. You find the information. Or, Jack, you drive around and you just door knock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, driving for dollars has been around forever. We're not like inventing the process. It's just giving you technology to make it easier.
Jack could try a deal machine for free for 7 days.
That is true.
You could with the TTP code.
There you go. Guys, again, if you guys are getting value real quick, make sure that you hit that like button. It is dramatic what happens when you guys participate and hit that like button. Certainly, if you have not subscribed, hit that too. It's right next to it, or around it, I think. And we come out with incredible instruction every single day. And if this is if you're feeling this, make sure that you subscribe. Love for you to be a part of it. All right, Arthur, when driving for dollars virtually and you find a deal, how do you go about seeing the house when trying to lock in the contract? Well, first of all, Arthur, you need to make contact with the property owner, right? Most property owners want you to see the property, or somebody to see the property. Not necessarily. They might want that, but you can obviously, if you're in a virtual market, you can get around that, or you can send your boots on the ground. But the first thing is you call and you ask them if they would consider an offer. From there, they give you only a set amount of responses. Yes, no, maybe, how much will you give me, who are you, and how'd you get my numbers? How'd you get my number? There's 6 responses that they give you, okay? Learn to respond to those responses. All in TTP Insider. We mentioned it before. You can get all those scripts and downloads. But then you know how to respond to those responses. And then they become a lead. Do they want to sell? Yes. Okay, great. And then you pre-qualify them based on the condition, timeline, motivation, and their price. Condition of the property. How much repairs or upgrades does this property need? Timeline. When do they want their money? Or when do they want out of the situation? Motivation. What is their problem? What are they dealing with here? Is this a physical condition of the property motivation? Is this a financial, I can't afford this anymore, or don't want to afford it anymore? Or is this like an emotional, I'm going through a divorce, I hate looking at this building, I hate this neighborhood, I had a bad experience, there's ghosts, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different reasons there that they have the motivation. Then obviously the price. What price do they want for that property? You get as many of those pre-qualified as possible. You have a higher likelihood that they're going to do business with you, and then you go on that appointment, brother.
Love how easy you guys make it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful, but if you dissect it, it is just right there. Make it simple. Steve, with virtual wholesaling, how do you walk the property to assess the condition, and how do you manage buyers who want to walk the property? That's great. First of all, you have a couple different options. You can. Do we have any more driving for dollars, or are these guys good? Because I don't want them just standing here just like, yeah, Brent, great job, you know? Okay, we got a couple more driving for dollars. I'll get to. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, you guys are just eye candy for the show. With virtual wholesaling, okay, so walking the property. Listen, I would highly suggest you get boots on the ground. Get a real estate agent there that you refer them business, and they go on appointments for you. Okay, it's a huge win-win. Every time you run into somebody that wants retail value or wants to list it on the market or wants to be represented, you're referring that to your real estate agent, boots on the ground in that market. In exchange, they go on these appointments, take pictures and all that. Now, the second way, you can ask the seller, can you do me a favor? I'm going to send you a checklist of all the pictures that I need you to send. It's in TTP Insider, by the way, under the Perfect Offer Pack. The Perfect Offer Pack is what it's called in TTP Insider, and it shows a checklist of the pictures that you want to take. You get the checklist, you send it over to him, say, hey, can you take these pictures for me so that I can get you the best solid offer that I can for this property? And so now you've got pictures of the property. Now, once you get it under contract, you can use those pictures for putting them in front of your cash buyers so they understand the condition. And then from there, you just schedule a time. Once you lock up a property, you have a conversation. You go, listen, in 2 days, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I'm going to bring all of my people over. Everybody's going to come over. It's going to be a circus. There's going to be a lot of people, but then we'll be out of your hair. And then you set the time between 1 and 3, and that's when your buyers all go in to check out that property. And you have your real estate agent there opening the property, talking with the seller if they're there, or the tenants if they're there, and you have your buyers get in and decide if they want that deal. But if it's a really smoking deal, depending on the market, I mean, we sell most, I would say 90% this year of our property sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I won't mention, too, I know you're pointing people towards TTP Insider. I know we're going to be doing more and more exclusive training and best practices and things like that just for your network. So stay tuned for more for that. But excited to be teaming up with you guys more and more on this stuff. Right. So
awesome. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be, awesome. What, okay. There you go. You want to read that one, David?
Yeah, it says, yes, I have a question for them. And this is from Teresa. How are you doing, Teresa? I can only virtually drive right now. Do you offer the planned route mode with virtual driving or something similar? What can I get out of virtually driving? So the answer is that the planned route mode is for giving you GPS directions in the real world. So if you want to go physically go drive by a certain number of properties, that's what the planned route mode would do for you. You can get a lot from virtually driving, I think, especially if you're not able to drive in the real world. And what you should do is zoom out and look for some of those areas that need love and start covering every single one of those streets and adding the worst looking houses in those areas.
And as you do that too, when you when you click around, I know we showed it a little bit before, but it will track your route there. So you'll be able to look and see, hey, here's the orange line following me around. You'll be able to blanket that area and not double back on your routes virtually as well. So.
Love it. Awesome. One more question for you guys, and then you're off the hook.
Actually,
I'm
it's
just kidding.
3 questions.
Oh!
From Dig.
There you go. Dig, there you go.
Does Deal Machine provide skip tracing? Yes. How much? As much as you want. And how accurate?
I don't think that's
you mean price.
That's
but
good.
as much as you want.
Look at him. Yeah. He's got it all. He's the mayor. Yep.
So check this out. Can I demo a skip trace?
Please do.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep.
All right, so this is an example of a property I just found virtually driving for Dollars Dig, and I just skip traced it. And so it came back with 13 numbers. You're like, wow, that's a lot. And 7 emails. Which one do I call first? And so Deal Machine skip tracing provides you a couple of extras that make this an easier choice. So the first thing is we pay to have a third party verify if it's connected or disconnected. So right away, these 4 numbers, you don't want to call them. If none of the other ones work, maybe you could use them for research, right? To see if those numbers show up in any Google searches, but we're not going to call them. The next thing I want you to look at is the caller ID. So again, we're contacting the phone. It's called like a CNAM, for mobile numbers. But a lot of these just say Phoenix, but there's one that says Bill Taffarelli, which if you'll notice, that matches the owner name of the property. So because those 2 line up, I would contact this first number first because the caller ID matches. And so those are some unique things about Deal Machine skip tracing that you guys can use to get the most accurate results possible from your skip trace. The skip tracing, I believe, is 14 cents for on the basic and professional plan for one-off or bulk skip tracing, and it goes down if you're on the elite level.
There you go. Awesome job, guys.
Thanks.
Hey.
Appreciate
Look forward
it.
to lunch.
Yeah.
All right.
I always look forward to lunch.
Do we have an applause? Can we get some sounds? Well, I was talking to Matt. He has a button for it. Awesome. That was really, really, really helpful, guys. I cannot tell you. Listen. If you want to take the mystery out of this, if you're sitting there and you're like, and this is an example. Actually, Aaron, will you come here? Yeah. Come up here. Give me your experience so far, because you've never been in real estate before, right?
No.
You are my podcast audio engineer.
Yes.
You're excited about real estate,
Yes.
being around all of us crazy people.
Yes.
And you started driving for dollars.
Yes.
How's it been?
It's crazy. Just because if you guys haven't seen the video yet, go watch the video after this live show, because Brent's actually using my account.
Yeah.
And he actually used 3 locations that I've never seen before, or never even thought about looking at. So he actually added some into my account. He goes, "Oh, this is a great property," and I was like, "How is that a property?" And then we're talking about it today, looking at the potential
Yeah.
these different properties have. And then after looking into it, it's like, "Oh, this person has a crappy tree in the front yard you should get rid of,"
Yep.
or they have a, mail in the you literally
Yep.
see the mail, so in the mailbox. There's a ton of stuff.
Yep.
So using Deal Machine, just using it virtually, and then I actually go back and actually go drive those routes.
Yep.
Just because, we had a question earlier, what do you do with this? Is this from 2019? Go look at it.
What was your biggest questions getting into it? Was it which properties to add, which areas? Just don't even think about it. Just what were the mystery? What's the mystery of this? Jeez. I don't even know if that's a sentence.
Yeah, it's honestly for me, it was what is the potential?
Right.
That was the first thing that came to my mind was, what is Brent seeing? What is his team seeing that I'm missing?
Right.
Why would this property Brent go, "No, that's fine, that's okay. Let's go." Well, the one next door is way better.
Yeah.
But the one next door looks better condition and all that other
Yep.
stuff. So it's just all about the condition of the property when you're looking at the pictures. But when you're driving and you drive by and your initial reaction was, "Boy, that's gross."
Yeah.
Then your first reaction should be, "I should add that to my list."
Yes. Do you think more training would help with that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. That's what we're doing. TTP Insider. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. There we go. Okay. Joe, I have a lead that said that their property is going through probate. Okay, awesome. And to call them back in 6 months. Is that something I follow up with in 3 months or sooner? Absolutely, Joe. I would touch base on a monthly basis, if not every 2 weeks. And it's not even to see if things change. It's just frequency. The more reps that you have in front of somebody, the more they remember you, the more that they think of you in whatever, a personal or professional setting, right? It's all the reps. It's the reps that you're getting in front of these people. So you just want to build the relationship over time, especially if you think it's going to be a good deal. And then just say, "How's it going? I just was touching base. Just want to see." I work with a lot of people that go through probate, and sometimes they need referrals for contractors, or they need referrals for estate sales or anything like that. Anything that you need in regard to this property, I want you to text me and let me know, and I can help you out. I'd love to do that for you, right? Be of service to them outside of just, "Hey, I want to get this deal. Hey, I want to give you a cash offer on this." Anything that I can help you out with. If it's broken into, if it's vacant, do you need to board it up? Do you need to get it secured? Do you need help getting somebody to pull out all of the junk? Do you need somebody to help you, sell this car that's been sitting in the backyard for 14 and a half years? Whatever, right? Any of those little things that you know about the property, anything that you can provide value is going to give you a great shot at those deals. But don't lock it up too soon, because the timeline on that really, you can lock it up if you can, technically, but a lot of times the sellers get real wiggly. And I don't want you to be in a situation where you lock up a property month 1 of the probate. They start saying, "Hey, I don't want to sell this month 4." And then you put a memorandum of the sale and contract on that property, and then it turns into a whole big distraction. And Yeah, I get locking up properties as soon as possible so that you have the opportunity. But I also understand how much time and brain power it takes if somebody wants to back out of a deal. That's why time kills all deals. You want to shorten the timeline from the time that you put that property under contract and it gets sold. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. You know that I like that. I don't know, but hit that, yeah, boo. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. It really helps us out if you're getting value out of this, and certainly subscribe if you're not already subscribed. All right, Hector, second deal in escrow, closing this month, $5K assignment. Yes, I love it. Hector, congratulations, $5K. Let's add a 0 to that. Let's get this a massive deal, but it starts with these smaller deals, right? It starts with, and I don't know how many deals that you've done already, Hector. It looks like at least 2, but I assume you've done more. But that first deal, right? That first one, that proof of concept, the first one that really breaks your brain, the first one that you realize from the air, from your ability to use a cell phone, you make incredible income from solving the problem of distressed property owners in your marketplace. Once that goes from faith to fact, it changes your brain forever. And then once you do a massive deal of $50K plus, and that hits your account, your brain's just destroyed. I mean, you're thinking way bigger. You're thinking 75 next, 100K next, $500,000 next, $1 million deal. That's how you keep expanding. You keep evolving. You keep growing in this business. You keep recognizing the potential of the leads that you have. Jean, what list should I pull up to cold call? Driving for dollars, for sure. So start building that list. You're going to always want to go after your tired landlords. Those are people that own rental properties. They're what in our industry is called absentee owners, right? They don't live there. And you want them to own it for at least 7 years. I highly suggest you go after properties that were built before 1990 so that they've got some wear and tear on them. And I suggest that you start with properties that are under 2,000 square feet, maybe under 2,500 square feet, because you want to have the biggest pool of buyers to get some easy wins off the bat. And if the rehab budget isn't gigantic, like you get in 3,000, 4,000 plus square feet houses, then the pool of buyers is going to be bigger because they have enough money for these smaller budget on the properties that are kind of bread and butter, fix and flip properties. Brandon. Brandon, great to see you, brother. I love that. Do you or would you go after on-market MLS land? Sure. Listen, Brandon, I'm not afraid of the MLS. It's just you got to get them at the right prices. And everybody has seen it. So my question is, okay, how long has this property been on the market? If it's a smoking hot deal and it's literally exposed to the whole universe, the whole planet through the internet, because once they list it, it goes everywhere, and they still can't get a ready, willing, and able buyer at that price, they're priced too high. So how low do you have to go? And oftentimes it has to be significantly low. Now, Ryan Zolan, join us tomorrow if you really want to deep dive this. On Thursday at 10 a.m., we do the Millionaire Before 30, have an incredible show tomorrow. He talks about his strategies and getting deals off of the MLS, and his is more just over communicating with agents that he sees potential with properties that need some love. So his strategy is look for the properties that need the renovation, get them locked up and sell them to people that are ready to buy those. And because he's done so many of these, he knows how to recognize the potential of the properties that are on market. You want to talk about a very, very, very valuable skill? How about the skill of discovering really great deals on the market that other people don't see? Woo! Next level. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Theo, I'm using Mojo Dialer, single dialer. When should I switch to triple? It's up to you. If you feel like you can, that you are ready, this is an interesting conversation that I had. So in my coaching program, every single day we have a support call, live support call with either my team or myself. And yesterday was with me. Tuesdays are with me, and I found, and the question was what is the, and it might have been Mike might be still on here, but like, it was Mike. What is the mentality? How do you really get in the right place to make these calls? What's going through your head? And I'll tell you what I told that group is I assume everybody wants to sell. I think everybody, that's the assumption I have going into this. I mean, obviously, to be confident, you need to stand up. You need to be in a well-lit room. You need to have some energy. You need to have some enthusiasm. You need to warm up your conversation skills, right? So if you're there, Theo, and you're feeling it, and you want to talk to more people, and you're focused, you're not like wandering off, or maybe your mind's starting to wander off because you're not talking to enough people, that's when you go triple line. When you want to talk to more people and you feel like you have the capacity to do it, and you're going to go into every single one of those conversations with the assumption they want to sell. Let them convince me otherwise that they don't want to sell. And remember, that's the difference between a lead and not a lead. They actually want to sell. Remember, we're deal finders, not deal creators. We can't create a situation where the seller's like, you know what? I do want to sell. I didn't want to before, but now I do. Come on. That's not real life. Deal finders, not deal creators. Okay? They got to want to sell. They got to want to transfer that title. Juan, how do I get numbers to cold call so that I don't have my personal number flagged? There's a couple different things. One is a lot of the dialers provide it, Batch Dialer. They've worked out a lot of their kinks, thank God. Batchdialer.com. They can provide you with that. You can also go on callrail.com. And if you're just going to hand dial and you just want a different number that you can call from that's going to show up on their ID, there's your two options, Juan. Great question. This show is flying by. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Recognizing potential. What are your millionaire routines habits that you use daily? Jared, that is fantastic. Number one, first of all, it's taken a while to get to this position, right? And so I think one is the consistency and the sustainability of the things that you do for this business is critical. And we talk about consistency a lot because obviously the more consistent, the more momentum. Like, remember, lead generation is the engine of your train going down the tracks. That's the analogy, right? You're building that momentum. That's the consistency. If you stop giving fuel to your lead generation, then it slows down and then it stops, right? But I think more importantly, Jared, is the sustainability. If we're white knuckling it, if we're sacrificing everything to everybody, and it's really throwing us off, if we have a lot of responsibility. Listen, if you're just a young dude and you don't have, these huge responsibilities, kids and wife or husband, or, you're not taking care of your siblings and you're not doing all these things and you have enough time to throw yourself into it, go bananas, go crazy. But if you've got like a little bit more responsibilities or a lot more responsibilities, it has to be sustainable. You have to look at your schedule and find when you're going to be proactive. So, Jared, the number one thing is I am always talking to people. Always. Always, always. Even now, I'm not making cold calls for wholesale deals anymore. I have a staff for that, and I did plenty of that. Talked to over 40,000 homeowners, right? But I still talk to people all day long. I'm still connecting all day long. I'm still on my phone all day long. I'm still texting all day long. I'm still responding all day long. So one is I am very, it is rare, and sometimes it happens, but it's rare. It's got to be very unique. I respond to all the text messages, right? I respond quickly. I connect with people. I over-communicate. I try to connect other people. I'm trying to connect people so that they can win in whatever they're trying to do. And that's a huge advantage that I have. I get a lot of sleep. I really do. I get sleep. I sleep. That is huge. I exercise. That's huge. I surround myself with incredible, optimistic, positive people. That's huge. So, board of directors, who are you spending the time with from a professional standpoint, right? How much time are you making sure that you protect your energy? Not only doing things, not only removing the things that pull your energy down, right? But also the things that increase your energy. All those things, right? And then you got to talk to people. You got to be loud. You got to be texting and calling and reaching out and being proactive. If your phone's not going off all the time, then you need to start reaching out. You need to start being proactive. You need to connect. I mean, love him or hate him, if you read Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, minimum 50 calls a day. Minimum. That's all he did. He had that ridiculous golden phone that he would be making calls from, and it was like made out of like whalebone or something. You know what I mean? And he'd just be talking on it all the time, and he's wearing his suits and his ties. And I'm telling you, the real pros are talking to people all day long. They're constantly. I see some of these people, and listen, I've got some really big people that go to my gym. Robert Kiyosaki, Joe Polish, if you don't know who that is. Those guys, they're on their phone their whole time. I'm like, well, put the phone down for a second. They're on the phone all the time. I'm telling you.
Also, Brent, you still put a lot of good stuff in your head.
That's
reading, podcasts. That's something you've been doing for years.
Yeah, if I am driving, I haven't listened to music by myself in the car for like 7 years. For real. Why would I? There's too many interesting and exciting things to learn from podcasts, from Audible, right? It's like you got a driving, it's like going to college or something as you're driving around, a mobile university, so to speak. So I put a lot of good stuff. I remove all negativity. I remove all people that I just don't, that have a weird negative energy, any of that gone.
I feel like this was key, Brent. Like you've identified kind of what your superpower is, what your highest and best use is.
Yep.
You're consistent about it. You're not crazy, but you're consistent, which makes it sustainable.
That's it.
And allows you to have a lifestyle around it, family, friend, all this other stuff.
That's it.
Podcast while you D for D.
Podcast while you D for D, for sure. I mean, a lot of people listen to this show and listen to the Wholesale Hotline podcast and the Wholesaling Inc. podcast at the gym. As they're working out, as they're doing things. If you're listening to it right now, get it. Get that workout. There you go, Jared. I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's all the things that you know, but most of it, I would say this: be proactive with your communication. For real, you will win. It is impossible for you to lose. Awesome question.
Golden toilet as well was involved, I think.
Golden toilet for Trump? Yeah. That's awesome. Jonathan, great question. Brent, how do you feel about Facebook lead ad inbound leads in 2022? They're taking over for our internet leads. We spend $15,000 a month. I actually have the guy that organizes that coming in for a podcast this afternoon. So make sure that you subscribe and get notified when that comes out, because it's going to be incredible. But we've done very well. We've done very well, Jonathan. We've tried both just static pictures and videos of my acquisition manager, Ryan, out there driving around talking about what we're looking for and how we can help people. And we split test that. And it's been great. The issue with pay-per-click right now is somebody has gone in nationwide and has like built a bot or something that clicks everybody's ads. And so they're figuring that out. Because a lot of people are just wasting money. Okay. Brent, I got my first deal. It's an $80K spread. Using money to join TTP family and investing in the business. Did you join today? He might have joined today. Will you look from Jed? Did you talk to Jed? I think it's, look at my cell phone. Look, Jed, is it Daniel Alvarez? If it is, I'm calling you in this afternoon, and we'll talk. But congratulations. Excited to work with you. It is? Yes, he's in it. Daniel, yes, here we go. That is incredible. 80K deal on his first deal.
And he's a TTP student.
Listen, Daniel, and I will tell you this in a couple hours after I go to lunch with these crazy guys. You're spoiled if that's your first deal. 80K on your first deal. That is absolutely incredible. That is so great. I mean, that is brain changing, and now you already know it. Now the thing that I will tell you is whenever I see people get a big amount up front, they start thinking, you know, how do I do things that other things that didn't get me this deal but could potentially get me other deals, and let's go deep before we go wide. And I'll talk to you about it. But congratulations, Daniel. So excited for you. I'll call you soon, bud. Awesome. Steve, Brent equals best mindset coach in the business. With virtual wholesaling, how do you walk the property to assess the condition, and how do you manage buyers who walk the property? Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of, thank you, Steve, first of all. Have a real estate agent on your team. Have a real estate agent on your team so that you can have them walk the property if they need that. Now, again, you can go into TTP Insider and get that perfect offer pack, which shows you the checklist of pictures that you should be taking on each one of these deals so that you can get a solid offer from a cash buyer. Okay? So just use that. Just send that to them and ask the owner to take those pictures for you. And if they say yes, that is a huge indicator that you could get this deal. I mean, that you should get this deal, right? They're working with you. They're communicating with you. They're sending you pictures. They're, you know, when you ask them to do some stuff and they're doing it, that's phenomenal. You know, if they're like, no, I don't want to take pictures of my house. Can you just send somebody over? I think I'll mess it up or something. Then send in your real estate agent partner that you're referring all the retail leads to, and in exchange for them to get there. All right, Steve, to walk that property. By the way, guys, if you guys are driving around, it hit me because I mentioned it. Wholesale Hotline, guys, we come out on Wholesale Hotline on the on iTunes, on Spotify, whatever else, everywhere that you listen to podcasts to. Type in Wholesale Hotline. It's myself, Jamil Damji, who wholesales more deals than anybody, and Pace Morby, the master of creative finance. We all have a show together that's on there called Wholesale Hotline, but also individual podcasts 7 days a week. Check it out. Hector, working on 2 vacant properties. I locked them in and JV with a partner who has a better buyer's list. What assignment fee should I expect or ask? It just depends, Hector. With those properties, it just depends on what price you got them under contract for, right? What's the ARV on these properties? So if we were to look at it, and this is, we can go, can you switch to this, this tablet here, Matt? If we looked at this, and we've got the ARV, let's say that let me make this a little bit smaller, actually. What the heck? That's crazy. Is it not working? Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'll just do it here. When you're looking at this, Hector, can you switch this mic? Here we go. And you're looking at the ARV. By the way, we're using this whiteboard because this whiteboard computer thing is just crap the bed, and we'll figure it out. But you've got your ARV here, okay? And then you want to subtract 10% for the profit that an investor is going to want to make, or listen to this, Hector, this is the little sticking part, minimum $20,000 profit, okay? ARV, what is it? 200,000, 250,000, 150,000, 100,000, whatever it is. Subtract whichever one of these is higher. Okay? Got it. Okay. And then subtract 6% for closing costs and commissions. And this is just what the cash buyer is going to be looking at. He's like, okay, I've got some title and escrow fees. I got to pay my real estate agent. I've got some holding costs, whatever. And then from there, so you're taking 84% off the top. Or if it's under that 200,000, you got to make a 20,000 minimum. This is where everybody gets like, wait, what? Isn't it 70% minus repairs and whatever? Yeah, it could kind of get to that if you're in the lower price points. But if you're in the higher price points, you'll get absolutely destroyed. And well, you'll get some massive deals, but you'll do one every 5 years. All right? So 84% off the top minus repairs. What is the estimated repairs, right? Matt, don't even worry about it. We'll deal with it after the show. But what is the repairs here, okay? And then that is your wholesale price. And then from there, what do you want to make, bro? If you locked it up at, 100, you can sell it for whatever the difference is here. That's what you're going to make, right? So what'd you lock it up for based on, and what is the wholesale price that you can sell it for, right? That's all you're looking at. So then you build in your assignment fee. And then this is your offer to the owner. Can you guys see that? Is that there? Hold on. There you go. Boom. So that is the long version of it, okay? But this will help you understand what you can expect from your assignment fee. Got it? Hope that helps. If it doesn't, ask questions. That's the point. All right? There you go. How much should you pay an agent to visit the property and obtain video pictures? I prefer nothing. I prefer a good relationship that you just send them referrals. But if you don't want to do something like that, you could put on Craigslist. What do we do? 50, 75? I think it's $75 on Craigslist to go take pictures on an iPhone. Take your phone, take some pictures, take a video of this property. I'll give you $75. Send it, put it into a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link and send it to me. Yeah. Yep. And if you need to know the checklist of what pictures to send to those people, it's on TTP Insider. I'll tell you what, this is a brand new shirt. Yeah, it's a little baggy for now, but it'll shrink down, I think. It'll be real nice and tight. That's it. I just got to get swoller. Maybe it'll be bigger after lunch. We'll see. There you go. Just got 2 leads just now from a tired landlord. Let's frickin' go. Armando, I'm going to ring it. I don't care. Let's go. It's not technically a deal, but I'm going to ring it. Fantastic. So there you go. Good. Now, remember, it is a lead, so they want to sell. What's the strategy, right? Is it going to be a wholesale deal? I hope so. I hope it's a big, fat, juicy deal for sure. But remember, we've got a lot of tricks up our sleeves. We've got the ability to wholesale. We got the ability to fix and flip. We've got the ability to keep these properties in our portfolio. What if, like the example I had before, you have a really nice house that they want retail and you're in a position to add to your Airbnbs? There's just a lot of options. There's just a lot of different things. Or maybe you know somebody that's buying Airbnbs in certain areas, so you start targeting these properties that are kind of okay. They're not the best, but they still want basically retail value minus a little bit, minus the expenses, they'll give you a little bit because there's updating that needs to be done, but it's perfect for somebody that has a long-term BRRRR strategy that then does a Airbnb. So Ryan Zolan's selling his deals to. For real. He's selling it to people that are buying these to fix them up to Airbnb. And it's a great strategy for right now. But if you didn't have enough experience, then you wouldn't know how to recognize that potential. And the crazy thing, and it kind of is frustrating to be honest, but it's also exciting, keeps this business exciting, is things change all the time. Right? everybody was going, oh, Airbnb is great. And then cities started going, no, you need to have a permit. And we only give out 1,000 permits. Then you go, okay, that's a different opportunity on one level, right? To go after properties that already have that golden ticket and be able to sell those at a premium. But also it might shrink the buyers that have that strategy. Hey, Bob, what's going on? They're making us get these permits for Airbnb. It's crazy, huh? Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, great. So what are you going to do? Are you going to switch your strategy? Or are you going to go after it? Like, talk to me. What can I find you that you want to buy? Blah, 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 blah. That's the business, baby. That's the business. It's a moving target all the time. But what's stays constant is if you find ugly houses, you get big checks. But recognizing the potential is huge. That is the difference, levels to the game. Awesome. Noah, when you're signing your contract to a cash buyer, do you have to disclose your fee? No. No, they're going to find out. I mean, it's going to be on the closing statement, but there are some assignments that don't show the actual assignment fee. But I have no problem doing that, Noah. Now, if you feel like it's way too big or you feel like you just don't want there to be any friction, do a double close or double escrow. I have a great breakdown of that on this channel, and that way they don't know how much you're making on your deals. If you feel, but listen, whatever. If you have enough buyers, if one of them's like, are you kidding me? You're making $92,000 on this deal? Yes. My team is incredible. Is it still a deal for you? Well, no, I want it less if you're making 92. Bro, I got 3 backup offers. You don't live your life, you know? If you want to base your value decisions on what I'm making, we're not going to do business. Just not. So, I don't mind disclosing at all. But if that's because I have a big buyer base. If you don't have a big buyer base and you're kind of like, this dude's going to be pissed if I'm making $42,000 on this thing, great. Do a double escrow, double close. There's strategies. Get some transactional funding, close this deal, put it right back on the market. Well, that wouldn't be transactional. That'd be just regular hard money. But you can get transactional funding for your double closes. Ratio. If I provide a list and dialer for someone to call and they end up closing a deal all on their own, what would be the best way to fairly split an assignment fee, assuming I did no work but provided data? Typically, people are going to go 50-50. Some people go 80-20. I take 80, you go 20, because I provided you the opportunity to generate leads and to go get it. It's a conversation ratio. Do you want a long-term relationship? Well, then make it a win-win. I would rather overpay somebody that's going to be consistent and have a really good heart about it. You know what I mean? They're really going out to serve the community. They're really going out. They're going to find a lot more opportunities. They're motivated. They're ready. Their schedule allows it. They do a great job. Then partner with it. I don't care. What the question you need to ask is, what return on your investment do you want? If you invest in a dialer and skip tracing, it's not a tremendous cost, and people will figure that out. So I would probably figure out a relationship for a certain amount of deals and then renegotiate after you do 10 deals or something. Or they'll just ghost you and do their own thing. MRNBRC. I'm virtual. When mailing, is it better to use a local address in my market or use the Texas address I have? I would use a local market. What do you guys think? When local people market, yeah, local market. Yep. How many pieces of mail a month do you guys send out? Come on. How many pieces of mail a month through all of Deal Machine?
Oh, through all of Deal Machine, that's a good question. I think it's like maybe like 150,000 a week or something like that.
That you send out for all of Deal Machine?
Yeah.
Awesome. And is it local? When you send them out, is it a local Mailing address, or what do you do?
Yeah, so it's actually whatever you put into Deal Machine as your return address. There's a thing called a signature. So that includes your name, your contact information, and your return address.
Awesome.
So if you don't have a physical property in that local market, you can get a P.O. box.
Yeah.
And instead of putting P.O. box, you can just put that post office's address, suite number, your P.O. number. That way it doesn't look like you're a marketer using a P.O. box.
Well, you can also get a virtual mailbox, right?
Yeah, from like a... Do you mean like from like a FedEx store? Like a
No, you
UPS
just
store?
go online and go virtual mailbox, and they send it to the mailbox, whatever address you want. They scan in all your mail, and they email you every time you get something in.
What website do you use for that?
I don't use it because we don't mail, but I think you just Google virtual mailbox.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that solution.
Yep. Awesome. Matt, if you want to pull something up while we're waiting. Hi, Brent and Stephanie. I missed my March 7th goal. However, I learned something about myself. I can't close the timeline because I don't do follow-up. That's right. You got, listen, that's the whole thing, right? The lead generation, conversion, exit strategy. That middle part of converting, that sales part is so critical because you're putting in so much work hunting, and you need to convert it. You need to be able to finish it out, to get them committed. And it only comes down to 3 parts, right? Pre-qualify, based on condition, timeline, motivation, price. Lead follow-up, and your offer presentation. So that's really the 3 things that is part of that conversion part. So, is this live right now?
No.
Okay. Okay. So this is a virtual mailbox here, guys, that we just pulled up. iPostal 1, it looks like, for the top Google search. iPostal 1. I would look into that and just make sure you get a local mailbox. There you go. Everything's virtual. Mail's virtual now? I mean, I guess email's always. But, they scan in and get the physical stuff. What do they do when you get like a magazine or something? You just scan each page. Colleen Murphy, when you have a 9-to-5, how do you keep this going? Sustainability, Colleen. Right here. This is the perfect part-time schedule. 15 hours lead generation, 1 hour practice and role play, 1 hour lead follow-up, 1 hour driving for dollars, 2 hours on appointments, driving for dollars more if you don't have appointments, or lead follow-up. That's it. Find the 20 hours, Colleen. You've got 168 hours in the week. How do you find the 20 hours that you can commit? And by the way, don't go 20 hours week 1. How about 20 minutes? Then an hour a week, and then 2 hours. I mean, the more you can put into it, the faster it's going to work for you, the faster you're going to get to actually bringing in income. But if it doesn't fit, something is better than nothing, and going up in stages is okay. You don't have to go here right off the bat. You can start here with your time and build it up, and then really find those times where it's sustainable. Again, that word is so important. Sustainability, sustainable effort, sustainable action, sustainable schedule.
Also, I mean, Brent, like I'd say many, if not most of our guys and gals that get started, they have full-time obligations.
Yep.
So they have to do wholesaling part-time. So they carve out an hour or 2 each day after work, or a couple hours on the weekend, whenever they can be consistent, and they just stick with it, right?
Yep. Awesome. We got one more, and we are done for the day, guys. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for sharing your success. Thank you so much for letting me talk about the secret to this business. The secret of recognizing potential. The more opportunity that you have, the more experiences that you have, the more that you leverage the other opportunity, the other experience of mentors, coaches, and or working for somebody, you shorten the timeline. People that really value their time, they pay the money for coaching and mentoring. They just do. I've done it forever. I want to get there faster. I'm just not patient with that. So something to think about there. Thanks for all the info. I've been driving for dollars for a year now, as well as other sorts of leads. Managed to gross $190,000 in fees last year. Thanks for all the podcasts and motivation.
Wow.
$190,000. Congratulations. That is that is like quadruple what the average person makes. Incredible. Keep it going. I mean, 190 this year turns into 400 next year real fast, and that 400 turns into $1 million real fast. So keep it going. Come on up, guys. Everybody come up. Let's say goodbye. The show could not be done without the incredible crew, without these guys coming in from Deal Machine, Matt and David and Aaron, and surprise guest Mike Mahoney and Alejandra and Aaron. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Remember, keep your house clean. Your house and your physical house. It's important. Keep your house clean, protect your health, and increase your value to the world, and you're going to live an incredible life. I love you. Go talk to somebody.